YouTube, how's it going? I'm back with another 7-round NFL mock draft. This one is for the Seattle Seahawks, who have the 18th pick in the upcoming draft. This is actually my second time recording this because the first time, right when I get done, I get a notification they traded away Michael Bennett and draft picks were involved. Literally the second I got done recording it, so maybe another trade's coming right when I'm done with this video. But on to the first pick. They have plenty of big needs. Maybe I didn't go with their biggest need here, but I'm feeling Darius Geis for the Seahawks, running back at LSU. I like this guy. I think he'll be there at the pick. I don't think they can pass on him. They need a legit number one running back. They got plenty of running backs that can play. I do like Procise if he's healthy, but Geis is better. He's a legit number one guy. Get him for Wilson. I mean, you got Russell Wilson. It's kind of like a waste of talent right now with him because he's one of the best, maybe the best player in football. And you can't really get much offense going. A lot of that is maybe because of the offensive line too, but he's still able to work with that. So get him a playmaker like this. I see a fit too. I just don't know how they could pass on him. They do need to acquire some day two picks, in my opinion. Day two is great in this draft. This is where the strength of this class really stands out. In day two, I think there's a lot of day two graded guys that will be even there in the fourth, maybe fifth round too. So get some day two picks. Luckily, they do have their fourth round pick. I got him taking Austin Corbett, offensive lineman, Nevada. Now he's been rising up lately. Maybe he doesn't even get out of the third round, but this is best case scenario. I can see it happening. He can play tackle, he can play center, he can play guard. I do like him at guard day one for the Seahawks, which they obviously need. So I like him there. Hopefully he's there for them. Quite a few fifth rounders because the Bennett trade, and they already had quite a few. But I got Greg Stroman, corner, Virginia Tech. Maybe they need a corner, depending on what they do here in the near future, these next few days. Maybe they need another corner and need one earlier. But I like Greg Stroman. He's kind of feared towards the end of his career there for from other offenses because he just doesn't allow a lot of completions. He's a good playmaker too. Definitely a sleeper. I think he'll go round 5, but I think his value is much better than round 5. So I can see him as a good Seahawks corner. I can just see it. So they do have Griffin and Lane besides Sherman too if he's gone. So I do think they have some other talent there. But again, could acquire earlier picks so they can get a corner. Another fifth round pick, Jalen Holmes, defensive end, Ohio State. Another guy that can go maybe a little earlier, but it's possible he goes to the fifth round, fourth or fifth round. Not a ton of production, Ohio State. Part of a rotation with Ohio State. Solid players. They got players all over the place on that defense. Great defense. So I think he'll be a better pro than a college player for that reason. He's built like an NFL player. He'll get more action down the road, hopefully. I can see him fitting right in at defensive end for the Seahawks. I like that a lot. They obviously can use that with the Michael Bennett trade, so I like him. Freak of an athlete, freak of a guy. Seahawks could definitely use someone like that. Another fifth rounder, Dylan Cantrell, wide receiver, Texas Tech, showed out at the combine. Very athletic guy, and for being 6'3", that's very impressive. Can jump out of the stadium. Catches the ball, doesn't drop the ball a lot at all. Good route runner. There's really no weaknesses to this guy. Like I'm trying to find like maybe lack of production. He wasn't really lacking production. Maybe for an air raid offense, I guess. Kute was like the main target just because he was faster. Cantrell's another guy, gonna be a better pro than he was in college. I can see this guy being an NFL receiver, a solid one too. He could go if he went in the third round. It wouldn't be a bad pick, but the depth at receiver in this class, the day two depth, is going to push some guys back. There's going to be guys, it's hard to predict which receivers it's going to be, but there's going to be guys that get pushed back to here that we're going to be surprised about when you look at how many receivers, as an example, how many receivers there are in this draft class that can play. It makes sense. So a guy like this may end up going down here. Again, I can't really find weaknesses on this guy, and that's the main reason. I should say the second main reason I like him. He's very athletic, freak talent. So that'll be the main reason I like him. Another fifth rounder, Brandon Parker, offensive tackle, North Carolina A&T. Big time riser around the league. Sounds like scouts like him a lot. The media didn't really talk about him much. They weren't really high on him, maybe because nobody really knew who he was. But a lot of combine meetings. Teams like him, so. Again, they got a guard, I think, in Corbett. Now they get a tackle here. Maybe he can play in the near future after they draft him. On to the seventh rounders, Jordan Thomas, tight end, Mississippi State. I think a sleeper tight end, probably better value in this, but probably where he will go. Pretty athletic for him, I think. Seahawks need a tight end. They need one earlier in this, but again, they need day two picks. They need day two picks. I think Thomas can help them out. I think maybe they lose Jimmy Graham, so that's why they would need a tight end. I think they can go for a guy like Burton in free agency. I can see that fit nicely. So hopefully they take care of O-line or the tight end situation in free agency so they can focus on other things in the draft, because those other things I think are good in the draft. The depth of tight ends isn't too bad. The offensive line really is pretty good, actually, compared to most years. But I'm never really a big fan of the hit percentages in first round tight or offensive linemen. Just hasn't been all that great, unless they're like a sure thing like Quentin Nelson, which they don't have like a chance to get unless they trade up, which I don't think you want to trade up for the Seahawks. So it's risky. But on their last pick, we'll go Khalil McKenzie, D-tackle from Tennessee, and they need some D-tackle depth. Another guy that I think could be a better pro than a college player. Didn't really live up to his hype in college. Could end up being a Raider because his father is in the front office, but maybe they're banking on him being undrafted. So I do have him with their last 7th round pick here. So I can see him fitting in with the Seahawks. I can see him being a depth guy early on in his career. They do have some young talent for D-tackle. So they could be okay for now, but they really, when I was breaking down the Seahawks before I was giving them prospects, I just realized that Seahawks, not that they can't be a good team, obviously, because they have Russell Wilson, but it's a situation they got going there. They have some holes that are opening up. It's a little scary, I might say. But again, anything's possible when you have one of the best, maybe the best player in the league there in Russell Wilson. So you just got to get him some weapons. Let's get that offense going, but you don't want to lose that defensive power at the same time. I think it'll be okay if it went down a little bit, but you get that offense going. It's an offensive league now. I was always a big fan of the defenses win Super Bowls. It still can happen, obviously, but it's more offense every year. I don't need to tell anybody that. Everybody knows that. It seems like the offenses are taking over. So let's get that offense going in Seattle. They need to acquire more day 2 picks too, I think. But that'll do it for the Seahawks. We're going to keep going in draft order. Got plenty of videos to come. Free agency, offseason, all that kind of coverage. Draft coverage, regular mock drafts, all kinds of stuff for you guys. So stay tuned for all that. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Goodbye.